What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Detroit, it's your girl, Jaja, and you are listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, y'all already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add more to it, and I know you heard me the first time. Listen, you already know it is Thankful Thursdays. We have the activities of our limbs. We ain't in nobody's jail. We ain't in nobody's hospital, and you best believe that they have room for each and every one of us. And if they don't have room, guess what? They'll make room. Today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And you know what? I have literally, I've been going through some things this past week. And, sometimes we are put in situations that cause us to have those uncomfortable conversations. One of the reasons that I've been going through a few things is because of decisions that I've made, and B, decisions that were made for me unbeknownst to me. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm talking all about uncomfortable conversations heal. Okay? Uncomfortable conversations heal. One of the things that I've noticed in the Black community is we do a lot of running our mouths, but we never talk about the conversations that we need to have. We'll talk about what's happening on TV. We'll talk about what's happening with COVID. We'll talk about what's happening with our kids. We'll even talk about what's happening in our love life, but we ain't talking about the stuff that we really need to address. And right now, I'm having a communication issue with somebody that I genuinely care about. And it just seems as if sometimes people can be so caught up in their feelings and so caught up in how they feel that they're not even paying attention to the other players that are involved in the game. See, each and every one of us are our own main characters in our story. I'm the main character in my story, right? Just like Jesus was the main character in his story before he went to the cross. He also has some co-characters. He had some co-stars in his story. Just like you have co-stars in your story. They may be your friends, they may be your family, it may be your employer, your job, but you have co-stars that are a part of your main story. And I've been having these feelings because I got to make sure that I apply the feelings where they belong. See, a lot of us, we have the tendency to act like I ain't got no feelings. My heart is cold. My this, that, and the third. And to be quite frank, we all got feelings. Some of us deal with things a lot different than others. For me, I'm straight up no chaser. I'm going straight to the source. I'm not beating around the bush. I ain't tippy-toeing around nothing, and I ain't pussyfooting around nothing. And I think that is a challenge for individuals who don't have a voice, who find themselves not being able to speak on the things that actually hurt them. There are so many families that are broken right now because of feelings. Feelings are hurt. And instead of you expressing that your feelings are hurt or expressing how you feel about a situation, we would rather fold up our arms and tight up our face. So many friendships have ended because nobody wanted to talk and have those uncomfortable conversations that heal. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about uncomfortable conversations. Because in life, you are going to run into some extremely uncomfortable conversations. In my 36 years of living, I have been in situations where I was extremely uncomfortable. I mean, from being in the corporate world, having to sit at meetings and listen to people say one thing, and we walk out that door and they do something completely different. And I have to make a decision. Do I let this stuff continue to happen, or do I speak up? Because see, a lot of the things that happen in our community only happen because there's a lack of voice and people speaking up. See, it's more clout chasing than it is people actually standing up for what's right. It's more fame chasing than people actually standing up for the people in the community. If you do get famous, if you do get the money, how is it going to help your situation if you're not willing to help your situation now? See, a lot of us think, oh, once I get famous and I get the money, then everything is going to change for me. It won't. Look at the millionaires and billionaires. These people will damn near kill themselves and will rather have a normal life than to be wealthy or to have their life being filmed and followed every day of the week. But we chase it because the illusion that makes it seem as if this is the life. And we will cut our own brother or sister or family down just to get ahead, just to say we're doing better than the next person. What you gonna do when they cut all this stuff off? And I've been saying it. And I don't know how long I'm gonna keep saying it. I guess as long as God put it on my heart to say it. There are changes that are coming and that are happening, and we don't like being held accountable. We don't like being held accountable for the things that we do. We don't like being held accountable for the things that we say. And the minute that somebody says something to you about it, you want to ball up into a little tiny ball instead of taking accountability for your F-ups, for the things that you say and the things that you do, or the situations and compromising positions that you put people in. I know. I've been a victim of myself. See, before I decide that I want to blame somebody, and if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm add more to it. Before you decide to blame somebody, you ask yourself one question. What did I have to do with this? What did I do in this situation? What part did I play in this situation? Could this stuff have been avoided if I made a better decision? Last week, I got into a situation and I went off the handle because they went off the handle on me. So I clapped back, they clapped, so I double clapped. Okay? Because that's the Joy Road in me. And I have to bring her down sometimes. Joy Road 7 Mile. I have to bring her down sometimes because sometimes Joy Road Jaja and 7 Mile Jaja gets the best of me. And I'm no longer operating off of the God in me. I'm operating off of the hood in me. And sometimes that works and sometimes it don't work. Because see, sometimes your response to some things is not the response you need with everything. And so I clapped back double time. And I went back home and my spirit wouldn't let me be cool. It wasn't at peace. It wasn't at turmoil. And then I end up losing somebody that I loved. And that just made me feel worse. And so I told my sister, I said, I'm in an up right now. And I can't afford for my folly and the way I respond to things and people and situations hinder me from where God wants me to be. So I had to humble myself, go back to them, apologize to them so that I could rectify the problematic situation. Unbeknownst to me, she was going through something. Unbeknownst to her, I was going through something. And see, when you have those uncomfortable conversations, people can heal. When you ain't a good friend and your friend tell you ain't a good friend, you don't get to say you are a good friend. You don't get to do that. If your wife or husband or girlfriend is telling you you're not a good wife, you're not a good, you don't get to be defensive. You either make the adjustments because you love them or walk away and stop wasting their time. Because at the end of the day, people act like they not hurt when they are. People act like they don't have feelings when they do. I'm the first one to tell you I got feelings and I do care. I care about people wholeheartedly. And that was a problem for me because I would care about people more than those people would care about me. I would look out for those people more than they would look out for me. I would go over and beyond for those people more than they would go over and beyond for me. And then when I got an attitude and I'm sitting here with my arms folded and crossed, they want to know what's wrong with you. Because you ain't loving me the way that I deserve to be loved. Because I'm loving you the way you deserve to be loved. I'm looking out for you the way you deserve to be looked out for. I'm covering you the way you're supposed to be covered. So you can't do the same for me? Is it foreign? Is it not? We not speaking the same language? Because see, when the shit hit the fan, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. I'm talking all about uncomfortable conversations. Heal. At the end of the day, you don't get to decide whether or not I'm worth a value. Because at the end of the day, if I value the relationship that we're building, whether it's business, whether it's platonic, whether it's personal, whether it's family, whether it's friendship, if I value you and you know I value you, you don't get to decide to treat a person like trash. You don't get to decide when you want to support them, when you don't. Because I'm going to tell you something. Time will tell everything about a person. When they get sick, it will let you know about a person. When they ain't got no money, it'll let you know about a person. When they ain't got nowhere to live, it'll let you know about a person. When they back is up against a wall, you'll know about a person. I'm going to tell you something. Circumstances in life will let you see who you really dealing with. And sometimes a circumstance will happen just so that you don't run into a brick wall. Because see, sometimes we'll be in love with a person, care about a person, want to do business with a person, and something will happen, right? That'll put a pause. It'll put a pin in that relationship, in that situation. You don't know where this thing came from. You don't know how things shifted. You don't know when it got weird, but you know it got weird. See, I am certified in people. Okay? I really need to be a psychologist, and I need to go ahead and just maybe move my degree from international business and foreign policy to psychology. Because I know people so well to the point where it's nothing that no one can do to surprise me anymore. It's nothing that nobody can say about me that will surprise me anymore. See, I have become so in tune with Jaja that I know when you're getting ready to move funny. The spirit will drop it in me. He'll drop it in my heart. He'll drop it in my mind. I literally had a dream about a person and they had two faces. And I told my sister, I said, man, I had a dream about such and such, and they had two faces. You know, my sister, she funny. She told me, I told you, you ain't need a dream for me to tell you. But it's just the point that God will show you the people that you're dealing with. He'll show you your business partners. He'll show you your love interest. He'll show you if buying a house now or getting this car later is something that you should be investing in. See, sometimes it's not God or the devil trying to stop you from being your best. It's God preventing you from heartbreak and headache before you run into a brick wall. See, there are some relationships that I held on to because I cared about these people so much. Family. Because I was raised by a mother and father who went to their grandparents' house every Sunday for dinner. Every Sunday. Can you imagine going to your grandma's house every Sunday and having Sunday dinner? And you get to have fun and play with your cousins and see family, only to turn around and look at these same people like strangers. See, it's a beautiful thing when you are loved correctly, when you're loved in a friendship correctly, when you're loved by family correctly. I don't know what's in this water. I don't know what's happening right now. You know, people talking about some retrograde. Okay, whatever. But what I do know is people know themselves. And they also know how they move. People know when they moving weird. People know when they saying weird shit. People know when they being two-faced. People know when they being wishy-washy. People know when they don't want to be bothered. People know. We are in 2021 and it bothers me when people try to play you like you stupid. Am I stupid? Do I look dumb? Do I look retarded? No disrespect, no shade. But people will try to play you like you dumb as a doorknob. Like you just woke up and you don't know what's happening. And see, this is one of the things that I've learned about people that are being weirdos right now in this season. You don't got to be weird with me if I'm being real with you. Just learn to be real back with me. See, some of y'all yelling, I'm loyal, I'm 100, I'm real. But when it comes time for you to really be real, where's that? When it comes down to truly being a friend, you don't really know how. See, what I've learned about certain people is they like to deal with people that don't require a lot. I require a lot. Okay? If I'm going to be your friend, I require you to be my friend. This not going to be no one-sided friendship no more. Okay? I'm not looking out for you and you get to be and do what you want to do. That's not friendships. See, I'm not playing a one-sided game with family no more. You don't get to disrespect me, say what you want to say about me, and then be like, oh yeah, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my niece, that's this. No, that ain't family. What family is that? Just because we got the same blood running through our veins, that don't make us family. Because family is supposed to look out for family. Family is supposed to cover family. Family is supposed to treat family actually like family and not strangers or enemies. How you talking about this my cousin 1 minute and then the next minute, oh, I don't F with them. You don't F with who? What? You don't even own a grocery store, a gas station, a hospital, a school. But you talking about you don't F with somebody, and 9 times out of 10, the people who say they don't F with you is because they don't got their life in order. Most people who don't have their life in order are upset with people who do have their life in order. No matter how much your life may be in chaos, people are paying attention to how you raising your kids. People paying attention to how you living your life. My house is peaceful. When you come to my home, it's peaceful. I don't have no chaos in my crib. I don't care about what's going on in my community. Ain't no chaos in here. I fast and pray over my home. I talk to God every day, all day about what's going on with me. Just because you don't have a relationship with the Almighty, that's something you got to work on. And people don't like when you know yourself, when you know what you want, when you know how you want it. So now they don't get to give you whatever they want to give you because they want to deal with you at a bare minimum. See, I require the max. You don't get to deal with me when you feel like it and how you feel like it. Where they do that at? Where they do that at? And I'm not compromising and I'm not conceding. And what that means is that I'm not coming down to meet you at your standards because you got low standards and you a clout chaser and you a people pleaser and you just want to be down with whoever gonna let you be down. Have some standards about yourself. Have some expectations about yourself. And see, people don't like it when you challenge them. I'm a challenger and I ain't talking about the car. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that would rather get by on the hairs of their chinny chin than actually give more than what they are supposed to give and more than what's required of them. When I go and I host events, I could easily just do my two and few. Hey, how y'all doing? Whoop, 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 and keep it moving. But no, I give every client, every customer more than what they ask for. Because that's the spirit of Black excellence. Our slaves and our enslaved ancestors, they were handed scraps. So we still slaves and we still giving each other scraps? You mean to tell me that our enslaved ancestors were kidnapped, brought over here on the boat, some of them jumped off, some of them were diseased, died, women were raped, men were belittled, castrated, we were hoodwinked, bamboozled, diseased as a community, and we still giving each other scraps? And we still mistreating one another? And you still turning up your nose to your brother and sister who is literally dealing with the same fucking struggles as you? Are you kidding me right now? I didn't grow up with mommies and daddies with millions because they made the right decision. And I'm not mad at anybody whose parents made wise decisions with their money. I did not come from that. Everything that I'm building right now I'm building it from scratch because God blessed me with a gift and a talent and a passion and a purpose, and He's allowing me to use it every single day of my life. But when it comes down to having these uncomfortable conversations that heal, we run. We run for the border like we the Mexicans. Do you know how hard it is to be a slave and watch you birth a child and watch your child be stole from you and sold off, and you still gotta go and make the pies and the cakes and pick the cotton? Some of you don't even know what it means to struggle for real. And for those of you who do know what it means to struggle, why would you want to give somebody else a hard time? If you know what you've been through, if you know what you've had to deal with in your life as a woman, in your life as a man, in your life as a mother, if you know what you've had to deal with your whole entire life, why would you not want to support people that are trying to do great things? See, the culture is not the problem. It's the people. Because we want to run for the clout and chase the clout, and we want to run after the people who we think are the famous ones. These people have literally had blood, sweat, and tears for the things that they're doing. They didn't just pop up one day and say, oh, I want to be great. If you pay attention to anybody's success, they have been doing things for years, going unnoticed for years. And then God goes and he opens a door. He allows a merger to happen. He allows a strategic situation to happen. And then boom, to the naked eye, it seems like, oh, they made it. But they've been putting in the seeds. They've been putting in the work. But we don't know how to not be weirdos with one another. We don't know how to just be happy and supportive for one another. Our communities won't win until we get our own hospitals. Our communities won't win until we get our own hospitals, our own schools, our own grocery stores. We won't win until we own those things. We can keep coming out with beauty supply stores. You can come out with all the outfits you want. You can make all the wigs that you want. But our communities will not win until we own the things that we use on a day-to-day basis. If they shut down this grocery store and they say that we're in a shortage, what y'all gonna do? Them Chaldeans will shut those stores and go right across Telegraph, across 8 Mile, back to Bloomfield, back to Dearborn Heights, and they will serve their communities. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Huh? What we gonna do? Because they killing our grandparents. Both my grandmothers are dead, gone, and deceased. Do you understand what's happening right now? I literally was talking to some people that was over in a whole nother country. They're arresting people for not having their mask going out in the open. Arresting them. You don't believe me? Check out my stories. Go to my story. You'll see it for yourself. What you don't understand is that this is bigger than your feelings. We're talking about factual things that are happening here. And you get so caught up in self that you ain't thinking about the people around you, the kids around you, your nieces and nephews around you, your loved ones around you. You so caught up in what? What you caught up in? What you caught up in? And then to add insult to injury, we will share our displeasures about how we feel about what we feel, but we won't share those displeasures with the people we feel it about. We'll talk to our friends about our marriages, but we won't talk to our spouses about our own marriage. We'll talk to the other friend about the other friend, but we won't talk to the friend we got the issue with. We will complain to our coworkers about the mismanagement of the job and the this and the that, but we won't go write a letter to the main boss and the head honcho because we too scared. I say all the time, I live in a city of starving stars and hungry hustlers, and everybody is a coward, but everybody got a backbone. We're literally losing our kids. They just had a whole shootout in Texas. Texas ain't far. And if they'll do it in Texas, what make you think they won't do it here? Girl just got shot in front of her own house. You You don't think your little cousins, nieces, and nephews, this is why I pay attention to how people move. I ain't trying to act like I'm all that in a bag of chips, but I love my life. And when you love your life, you pay attention to the people around you. You pay attention to the people you call friend. You pay attention to the people you do business with. See, some of us, we don't want to pay attention to the people we doing stuff with. Then when shit hit the fan, it's, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about uncomfortable conversations heal. Because I'm going to tell you something. You can't evolve without conflict. I know a lot of us, we like to avoid conflict. I know a lot of people who are non-confrontational. And what that does is it creates a confrontation. It creates a conflict. When you don't address the mess gets messier. When you don't address the mess gets messier. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Some of y'all remember being in high school and it turned from I don't like her to I want to fight her to now y'all fighting. How? Because you didn't address the conflict. It went from I don't like what he do to now I'm being entertained by another man and now I'm cheating. Because we didn't address the mess. It went from, oh, I gained a little weight. Now I have high blood pressure and diabetes. There was a part that you missed. That you skipped a part. You the one that kept eating the ho-hos, the hamburgers, the donuts. And now you sitting in the doctor's office because they telling you something that you wasn't prepared to hear. But you didn't want to get off the couch. You didn't want to walk around the block. You didn't want to do the exercise. And now you're expecting or anticipating that a pill or a shot is going to heal you. Let me tell you something. We live in a world where there's profit over people. You are like sheep, the Bible says, slaughtered every day. You think they care about you? I feel bad if you actually think that the GOV here or anywhere cares about you. This is why families and friends gotta be tight. Y'all gotta be tight. And the problem is that you don't want to be held accountable for the shit that you do. We want people to ignore our parts, but we like to point and say what somebody else did. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep giving passes to stuff we need to talk about. Why do you think our whole community is full of drama and trauma? Because nobody want to talk. Nobody want to talk and nobody want to listen. You know, my ex-husband, he used to tell me all the time, you only listen to respond. And he was right. Because I was ready, y'all. I was ready to fire off. I told y'all earlier in the show, I was on double clapback duty. And he was right. I did only listen to respond. Because I always felt like I was being attacked. But I wasn't really listening to what he was saying because all I was hearing is the offense. That I'm wrong, that I'm this, that I'm that. But I wasn't listening to what was actually being said to me. Digesting it. So that I can say, okay, how am I going to heal? How are we going to heal from this situation? And you know what I've learned? Some people don't want to heal. Some people like the misery. The saying that misery loves company. There are some people who are miserable with their lives and they act like they're not. See, I love my life. I love my little bald-headed self. With hair, without hair, I don't care. I love everything about me. And it took me a minute to get there because I had to get over other people's opinions. I had to get over myself. I had to get over what I was telling me. So when people come at me a certain type of way, I already know how to deal with you. See, a lot of us don't want to deal with ourselves, but we rather point the blame at somebody else. I got a relative right now, alcoholic. But none of her friends are going to tell her she's an alcoholic. You know why? Because they benefit off of her being an alcoholic. It's like somebody who has a shopping disorder. Everybody want to be around them because they always going to the mall, not knowing that they're dealing with something. And this is the only way that they think that they know how to deal with it. There are people right now smoke weed all day, every day, because they don't want to have the real conversation. So they rather be high and let it just all disappear. If I'm going to smoke me some weed, it's to relax and go to sleep. Not because I can't deal with a problem and I don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation. Some of you don't want to grow. And it takes shit to happen for you to grow. You don't believe me? What is fertilizer? Sometimes you're going to be watered down. Sometimes you're going to be sunned out. Sometimes you're going to have to deal with some shit. And some of y'all don't want to deal with no shit. You don't want to deal with your people. And see, I'm going to tell you something. When you don't deal with your past will deal with you. There are some things I thought I was over. There were some things I thought I had healed from. There were some people that I thought I was over, right? And then when my mother passed, everything that I thought I was over grew back out. And this is one of the reasons why every day I do a self-assessment about how I feel, because you don't know what your triggers may be. See, a lot of us, we live a hunky-dory life and we act like we're okay and everything is all good, but deep down inside, you know something's not right. You know that you're feeling some type of way. And at the end of the day, you got to make sure that, am I truly healed regarding this person? Am I truly healed regarding this situation? There are some people I know I'm not healed from. There are some circumstances that I know I'm not healed from. Every day I think about my father and him committing suicide. And as much as I try to get over it, I'm not over it because I don't know why it happened. So when I think about suicide and people who've had to deal with it, I cringe because I know that's not something that I've healed from. When I think about my brother's death and I think about how my family is acting right now, I think to myself, what's really going on? Because everybody's having a conversation, but nobody's having the conversation. And I find it disheartening. Because, sorry, I apologize. Will you forgive me? I can do better goes a long way. Why is that so hard for us to apologize in the Black community? Why is it such a challenge for you to mend fences that you know have been torn down? Many of us will be multi-billionaires if some of our families work together. If we apologize to relationships that we knew we did wrong in, things that we said that we shouldn't have said, things that we did that we know we shouldn't have did. And then on top of that, once the person apologizes, who are you to hold them hostage? I am literally being held hostage right now for things I've done years ago because people don't know how to get over things. So instead of you getting over it, I got to learn to get over you. And see, people get mad when you learn to get over them. When you're no longer bothered by having a relationship with them, when you're no longer bothered by the business or the company. There are people that I worked with and they said, man, I didn't think you would ever leave. Well, I did. And I thank God that I did, because if I would have stayed there, I wouldn't be where I am now and where I'm going to be. Sometimes you're going to have to walk away from people and things that are draining you, that are sucking you dry. And I ain't talking about in a good way. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about the uncomfortable conversations. Because some of y'all are weird. Y'all being weirdos. You tiptoe around conversations. You act like things don't exist. Why do you think we still got molesters and killers out here? Because we don't want to have the tough conversations until they come knocking on our door. Now we want to get the police involved. Now we want to get this person involved instead of having the initial conversation when it took place. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you don't have the uncomfortable conversation when you were supposed to, guess what happens? It lingers. And it lingers in other areas. And we don't think it's going to linger at the time when we feeling the way we feeling, but it lingers to our kids and their cousins. And now cousins can't be cousins with one another because the other cousins ain't talking. Now family can't truly be family and be around one another because, oh, this person don't deal with this person. And this person ain't talking to this person. And this person feels some type of way about this person. And you know what else? You seniors in these families, you matriarchs, you patriarchs, you make me sick. Because you're just as messy as the young kids and the people that are immature in the families. Some of you aunts and grandmas and big cousins, you know all about the problems. And you supposed to be the leader in the family and you won't have the tough conversation. Oh, because ain't nobody going to listen to me. Make them listen to you. That's why I don't understand how niggas talk all this craziness when they was in prison. Yeah, when I was in prison, and I had everybody listening to me, and I didn't nobody move on the yard until I told them to. Really? But you can't get your family members to listen to you? Huh? How you was the big boss man on the yard with the prisoners, but you not the same big boss man while you free? I'm confused. I be tripping. Cause I hear the older folks all the time talking about who they used to be, what they used to do, how they held down this block, how they did this and how they did that. Okay, great. But how does that apply to this situation? If you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. I'm talking all about having the uncomfortable conversations that heal. I'm not talking about uncomfortable conversations that create more problems. I'm talking about the ones that actually heal. For the first time in a long time this year, me and my stepfather had a conversation. Years. My mother died in 2015. I have not talked to that man since my mother was alive. You hear me? This year, we finally had an uncomfortable conversation. And from that uncomfortable conversation, he was able to help me in my business ventures because I needed help. But had I been prideful, still stuck in my feelings and how I feel about what I feel, I wouldn't have been able to get some stuff done. See, a lot of us are holding on to things that we should have been let go. I don't even understand why you still holding on to it. It's extra weight. And it's bringing you down, and it's bringing everybody down that's around you, and you don't even realize it because you're operating off guilt. I refuse to let anybody make me feel guilty for anything I've done. I did it. Get over it. What you gonna do? Go back and change it? Some of you are operating in shame. You can't be shameful of what happened. It happened. Now move on to the next step. That's forgiveness. That means you got to forgive you first before you can start forgiving other people. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us will say, oh, I forgive you, but you still holding on to whatever they did. You still holding on to the unforgiveness, the lack thereof. The person didn't say they were sorry. Let me tell you something. There are some people who owe me apologies and they know it. There are some people who owe me some apologies, a sorry, some flowers, a dinner, all of that. All of that. And I may never get it. That's the reality. I may never get it. And you got to learn to be okay with never getting that apology, never getting that I'm sorry, never getting I'll support you. I had to really learn that I got to watch out for me before I expect you to watch out for me. I got to support me before I anticipate and expect you to support me. I got to love me. So if you decide that you ever want to walk away from me, I'm not left crying like no sucker. Because guess what? I've been a sucker where I had people making me feel less than when they were in the wrong. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about the uncomfortable conversations that heal. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jaja, because you do. What would the world be like if we really supported each other the way we envision? The way you want to be supported, support other people. The way you want to be treated, treat everybody like that. Not the people you deem are important or up there. See, this is why I win every time. Because I'm not just chasing people who got a title, a brand, or a name. I'm chasing everybody. I'm chasing everybody who's humane, who got love in their heart, who's kind, who's level-headed, who's chasing peace, who understand what it means to be Black in this country. Those the people I'm chasing. I ain't chasing no title, because titles change. People get fired all the time. Friends break up all the time. I remember it was a group of young ladies that I wanted to be friends with so bad. None of them ain't even friends no more. So here it is. The circumstance and the trajectory of your life can change at any given moment. I just came back from New York, got a whole new tribe of people that I never thought that I would be affiliated with, associated with in my life. I mean, my friend is working for Bloomberg, kicking it in Harlem, something I dreamed about. Getting ready to leave to go to LA. Again, something I dreamed about. But had I been chasing the people with the titles and the quote-unquote positions, I would have missed the opportunity to just kick it with, what was it? What was he doing? He was doing security. I was talking to a guy, he was doing security, and me and him was just kicking it, just talking, chopping it up. I made him laugh, he made me laugh. We didn't realize that we were helping one another get through something. He dropped a bug in my ear. He said, hey, you need to go in here and meet such and such. The gatekeeper. And see, some of you are hindering people from being successful because you are a hater. This man, we could have easily chopped it up, laughed, and kept it moving. And I would not have had the opportunity that I had if he hadn't opened up the door. See, sometimes there are people who are gatekeepers. They watching their friends back, or they watching over the business, and they think they're doing a good job, but you ain't letting nobody in. You ain't letting nobody in. And see, I notice females, because I'm highly intuitive. I know when I'm being hated on. I know when I'm being talked about. And I know when I'm being blocked. My name has been on tables, and there were Black women who hindered me. Not no white man, not no white woman. It was a sister, a woman, a lady, a Black man who looked just like me, hindering me from being successful. And you think you're going to be blessed? See, a lot of y'all are confused about what blessings and favor look like. A lot of you are confused with what blessings and favor look like. God gave us free will to do whatever we want to do. That does not mean you're blessed. That just means you have free will to do what you want to do. Blessings come from things that you cannot do yourself, from situations that you saw no way out of or in. Favor is when you know you don't deserve a particular thing, but God allows you to have it anyway. Whether it be a discount, whether it be favor from somebody, whether it be somebody putting you in position that you know you didn't deserve to be in. That's favor. Some of us are confusing blessings and favor with God, and that ain't even it. It's free will. And some of you have used your free will to hinder others. And it's only a matter of time before you fall flat on your face. I remember doing an event for the Media Girls Tour. And there were some young ladies sitting behind me saying real mean things. And it's funny because those same young ladies are still trying to get it. But you know what's hindering them? Their attitude, their energy, their vibe. Because you can fake your vibe all you want to. You will be put in positions where the real you has to show up. See, I want God to heal me. Emotionally healed, spiritually healed, financially healed, physically healed, mentally healed. I need that for where I'm going in life. I don't want one without the other. Because, see, a lot of us are financially healed, meaning we got a couple dollars in our pocket, but we emotionally unstable. Our spirit ain't right. Some of us physically got it going on. We done got our butt done, our boobs is high and lifted, waist is small, but you're spiritually a wreck. You don't have no faith, no belief. You ain't trying to help nobody else. It's me, myself, and I. That's what you thinking about. You done got a couple dollars in your pocket, and now you think you so such and much. But I'm going to tell you something. The same way you went up will be just as quick as you come down. And see, some of us, we get to a certain place in life and we think we're better. I done got a house and I'm better than the renters. You don't know what'll happen. God will burn that home down before you even get a chance to have house insurance. You don't believe me? Go ahead and try and see. That's why you got to always stay humble so that God don't humble you. And see, this is the thing. We take life for granted. We take family for granted. We take people who genuinely love us and care about us for granted. Because we get caught up in how we feel about what we feel about who we feel it about. Y'all not even looking at the bigger picture. Everybody want to be bosses until it's time to do some boss stuff. Until it's time to make some real boss decisions. Until it's time to stay longer than everybody else. See, what you don't understand is that the boss got to be the one to close up shop. The boss got to be the one to rectify any recovery, any problematic situation. The boss got to make boss decisions. And some of you don't even want to make real life decisions. So how you going to be a boss? How you going to be a leader? You want to be a leader so bad, but you so quick to follow. There's nothing leadership about you. Because you don't know how to speak up when you're supposed to. Because leaders speak up. Bosses say what need to be said. Some of you tiptoe around your own feelings. Then you up here mad and upset because ain't nobody taking you serious. You ain't taking you serious. I had these people sit in my house and in my living room, in my dining room, to have the uncomfortable conversation. Because I wanted my son to see what healed parents look like. I wanted my son to see what two adults look like that can work together for the benefit of the child. But see, pride and ego won't let people do that. Growth won't let people do that. Seeing the success and growth of others won't let certain people do that because you get stuck. And then you try to hinder somebody else's success and somebody else's growth when all that's going to do is come back on you. Yeah, you may not see it now. You may not have the karma now, but I'm going to tell you something. You trying to hinder somebody else and stop somebody else from winning will only hinder you from winning. You'll do everything, create a program, start a program, have an event, and it may even be successful, but it won't have the same root that it was supposed to have. This is why you got to be mindful of having the uncomfortable conversations that heal. We don't want to have them because we afraid. What you afraid of? But they ain't gonna talk to you no more? What you afraid of? They gonna do something to you? God has not given me the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. Why do I need to be fearful of you? Some of us have been around people who play that big tough tone role. They so tough. They think they about this life until they got to be about this life. See, I'm about this life. And people know when you really about that life and when you're not. That's why people can do certain things to certain people and not do it to others. This is why certain racist situations can happen to certain people and not happen to others. Because people know when you're about that life and when you're not. And then we have people in leadership who continue to fail the people who are looking to them as a leader. When God puts me in position as he continues to do, I don't want to fail the people that are looking up to me. Nor do I want to fail the people who are looking for me to give them wisdom about the things that they need. I don't want to live a life of regret. And guess what happens? When you don't address issues that you know you're supposed to address, you will always live in regret. I know this because there are conversations that you know that you should have said. There are things that you should have spoke up on, and you say to yourself when everybody leaves, man, I should have said something. Man, what if I would have said something? Just imagine what life can be like if we start speaking up against things that we know is not right. But we too afraid to stand up on our own 2 feet with our shoulders held back and our heads held high because it ain't a bunch of people standing with us. You know how many times I've had to speak up on the behalf of the city of Detroit and the citizens and the residents when people did not find it to be popular? People that were in leadership that I thought were my friends that I had to speak against because they were on some bullshit and they knew it. How you gonna be in this position and do your own constituents like this? How you gonna be talking about you the leader of the NAACP, but we got a whole young man in jail right now and we ain't swarming the jail? But as soon as one of your homeboys or your homegirls is on the ballot, now you want us to pay attention. We literally just let a white man take our houses, take our pensions, take all of what we've literally built off of our backs, turn around, marry his mistress, and we out here yelling, go white man, go. What? What's happening? What's happening with you? Do we hate ourselves and our skin that much? Do we hate who we become that much? Are we that afraid to address these serious situations? Or are we going to continue to let this shit just roll under the rug? What are we doing? Our kids are watching how we deal with one another. They're watching how we deal with problematic situations. And here you are beefed out with somebody and dealing with situations that don't even make sense. Sometimes you're going to have to be your biggest critique and your biggest cheerleader. Sometimes you're going to have to check yourself so you don't get checked. There are things that I have to check myself on so that in the event that I do get criticized or critiqued from it, I don't feel defensive because I've already mentioned it in my mind. So when they bring it up, you're absolutely right. That is something I need to work on. Now, yeah, I already know I need to work on that. And no, we got to change the disposition in how we deal with one another. Because views and likes and comments, that's cool. But I can't take none of this to DTE and pay it. I can't take the certified blue star. Can I go pay my American Express credit card with that? No, I cannot. I cannot. Yes, they will open up more doors and develop more relationships, but I can't pay no bills with likes and comments and views. Thank you. I appreciate them all. But I do this so that I can make an impact and it's followed by an income. And when you have people who are trying to hinder you, slander you, talk down on you, not willing to have the uncomfortable conversation with you, you're hindering my growth. You're trying to hinder my success. And all that does is hinder you. It hinders where you're going to be. Why do you think people go to Atlanta? They move to Atlanta. You know why? Because ain't nobody trying to hinder nobody growth there. Ain't nobody sitting up in a room that know people are qualified to be in there talking about, I don't like her. I don't want her to host. I don't like him. I don't like how I don't like his brand. I don't want to be held accountable for the things I've done, but yeah, I still want to be cool with you. No. We're going to be held accountable. Because at the end of the day, when you hold yourself accountable, you don't have to worry about nobody else holding you accountable. See, I'm at a place right now where I'm so excited for the transitions that I'm in. You know, I wanted my son to go off to college, wherever that may be, but primarily out of Michigan. Because I wanted him to go experience life that he's never been able to experience. And when you push people to go experience things that they've never seen or done before, it creates an uncomfortability, but it allows them to have a bigger perspective. It's like a person who's grew up on Spam and eggs their whole life, and then they get a chance to actually fine dine. Now, they may not like the escargot. They may not like the filet mignon because they're used to eating Spam and eggs, but their perspective has changed. Some of you hinder people because you don't want to change your perspective on yourself, let alone the situations that you're in. And then when you see people growing around you, you are upset. See, we can't keep hindering one another. People that I work with, I want to see them win. And if I have something to do with them winning, guess what? I'm going to help them win. You know why? Because I know that they're going to help me. They're not trying to stop me from winning. And some of y'all are so weird. You say, oh, I want everybody to win. I'm black. Black Lives Matter. Pro-black this. But then you the one that sneak dissing. You the one moving weird. You the one acting funny. I'm certified in people. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about uncomfortable conversations that heal. The only thing that COVID-19 did for me was show me areas that I needed to work on for me. I had to repent, meaning ask God for forgiveness for how I was moving, how I was feeling, how I was dealing with people, how I was operating, my procrastination, my laziness, my lack thereof. I had to, before I can give you an opinion about you, I got to deal with me. And see, I'm at a place right now where it's proof or poof. You gonna have to show or you gonna have to go. It ain't no middle. I ain't dealing with no gray areas and I ain't dealing with no gray folks. Because see, people will ride the fence in your life as long as you let them. As long as they can get away with giving you the bare minimum. The just enough. Just enough to keep them around. Just enough to keep them satisfied. A man will give you just enough time, ladies, just to make sure that you stay right where you need to be. A woman will deal with you just enough so you can keep dishing out that money just so you can stay around. I'm not in a position where I want people around that's willing to give me just enough. I want it all or I don't want none of it. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it because people will play you, and I refuse to get played. If anybody going to play me, it's going to be me playing me. Because we give ourselves so freely to people who we think genuinely love us and care about us, and they have ill intentions from the jump. Or their intentions change depending on who they're around. I love the fact that I'm consistent. I love the fact that I'm authentic, no matter whoever don't like it. That's your problem. But I bet you they'll be back to watch. I bet you they'll be quoting from something that they've heard on one of my shows. Because you can't get around or get over what's real. Realness pulls you in like a magnet. When you see something that's real, that's raw, you can't do nothing but keep your eye on it. because you're trying to figure out, okay, what they gonna do next. When you know somebody that's how they operate, you already know. Oh, I already know how they operate. I already know who they gonna come with. I already know who they dealing with. I already know what they gonna wear. You're predictable. Everything about you is predictable. This is why I look at people who have certain friends and how they operate with certain friends, and they friends over here with this one, and they friends over here with that one, and this one over here got you scamming, and this one over here got you scheming, and you ain't never got no money, but you hanging around all the people with the money. How, Sway? How? Because you don't want to have uncomfortable conversations that heal with the people that genuinely like and love you, but you would rather go after the people who don't give a damn about you. But we do that. And then we hinder one another from actually getting to the next level in life. Instead of bigging them up. Instead of bringing their names up in the rooms. You can't cook, so why would you hate on your chef friend? You can't host, so why you gonna hate on your host friend? You don't make clothes, so why you gonna hate on the fashion designer that does? You don't want to bring their name to the table, and then you don't want to speak up for the people's names. People hated me in the meetings in the boardroom. You know what they would always say as soon as the meeting was over? Jaja, what you got to say? That's one of the reasons why I named my show. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because when you know your voice matters, you use your voice. I don't like people who hurt people. And I will check you for people who I love, whether you like it or not. But see, it's not enough people speaking up on behalf of people that they claim they love and care about. How you say you love them, but yet you willing to let them get dogged out? How you say you love them, but you willing to let your mans get in situations that you should have spoke to your mans about? See, some of y'all don't really love and value the people y'all do. You just been around them for so long. It's a comfortability at this point. But see, God will make situations uncomfortable where you have to have those conversations, or guess what's going to happen? It's going to be a generation after a generation after a generation who goes unhealed. Some of these kids can't even be kids. You know why? Because they want to be grown like us, and y'all letting them instead of letting a kid be in a kid's place. Some of your kids can't be kids because you're letting them be adults. How your hair down your back to your crack? You a kid. There was a point in time where kids didn't sit around adults while they were having conversation. You up here telling your homegirls who you don't like, why they don't like you. You telling your homegirls about the guy you with and how you doing this with him and how you doing that. Your kid and your daughter sitting right there, taking it all in like a sponge. Then here comes some adult man, and now they all in this adult man face. You know why? Because they listening to your stupidity, your ignorance. This is one of the reasons why I had to thank God as to why certain people weren't in my son's life. Because there are some things that I'm glad he don't know. He don't have the characteristics of. Because sometimes there are people in our lives that can be poisonous and poison our children, and we don't even know it. This is why we got to pay attention to the teachers that our kids listen to and the schools that our kids go to and the activities that our children are on. Listen, I am a nosy parent. I went all up and through my son's Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, what you watching, what you're listening to, who your friends' mans is, where they live, who their parents are. You know why? Because life gets real crazy. And when you don't have the answers when you need them, now you frustrated because you wasn't asking the right questions when you were supposed to. There are people who are chasing clout and not chasing power and position for their families. There are people chasing and kissing ass behind people with their hand out, hoping that they give you an opportunity. And they're only going to use you until they can't use you no more. And then you get upset when you get used. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it because you're not willing to have an uncomfortable conversation. Some of y'all are doing stuff for free that you know you should be getting paid for, but you don't want to step on nobody's toes. You don't want to make no enemies. You don't want to stand up for yourself. You want to be liked by everybody. If you're going to be successful in this world, baby, you ain't going to be liked by everybody. And everybody ain't going to be your friend. This is why having uncomfortable conversations that heal matters. And if you need help, all you got to do is pray and ask God to show you what you need to say. I do it all the time. I don't always know what to say and how to say it. So I ask God to help me, show me what I need to say and do in this situation. Because if I say it the way I want to say it, feelings are going to get hurt. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. This is why prayer and fasting is so necessary. This is why looking at the bigger picture is so necessary. Listen, if you want to heal, you're going to have those uncomfortable conversations. You can't be afraid of the results, but you definitely are going to be afraid if you don't have the conversation, because it's only going to hinder you and it's going to hinder everything and everyone around you. Listen, I love you. Make sure you're wearing your mask. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're eating your fruits and your vegetables, getting that sunlight, getting that fresh air that God gave us. God gave us the medicine. Use it. God gave us the medicine. Use it. Doctors treat, God heals. Okay? So before you put your trust in man, man will fail you. They have done it plenty and plenty of times, especially to our culture. And if Black lives really matter to you, you're going to move and operate in a way that Black lives, all Black lives, really matter. I love y'all. And until next week, peace.